Okay, Shabab. Today we are going to continue with lesson 11, page 92. Look at your books on page 22. As usual, here, as we know, here we have, the revision for grammars. As usual, we are going to look at the objectives of our lesson, to identify the words that are connected with the environment and natural disasters, express surprise through negative questions, use the relative adverb where to refer to places, and to ask for information using indirect questions, express agreement, and express disagreement. Okay. Look at your box on page 92. Now, as you know, we have natural disasters and environmental disasters. Look at the pictures. According to the natural disasters, we have what? This is a tsunami or hurricanes, tornado, etc. Earthquake, flood, volcanoes, volcanic eruption, erosion, and fires, forest fires. This is the natural disasters. About the environmental issues that we suffer here in our, let us say, world, global warming. What do you think? What does this picture represent?
Answer.
Yes,
It represents pollution.
good, pollution. And here we have also over what? Overfishing, I think. So overfishing means fishing too much. Fishing. And deforestation, cutting down trees. Okay, now just we're going to fill in the space with the correct word. What do you think the first one, Adnan?
Many areas of farmland have suffered severe deforestation or erosion.
Good. Or erosion.
Erosion.
Erosion means the same meaning with deforestation. Good. After the earthquake shock, the ocean, a tsunami. Read Diya.
After the earthquake shook the ocean, a tsunami wave roared toward the ocean.
Good. Next, Ahmed Al-Horani, future.
Yes, Mr. Future global warming may also have an impact by increasing drought stress.
Global warming may also have an impact by increasing the drought stress. Is destroying large areas of a tropical rainforest. What do you think it will be, Adnan?
Deforestation.
Yes, deforestation. We must not assume that a tornado will hit this country. So this is about the global. Here we have some words that use with environment and natural disasters. Global warming, erosion, air pollution, it's water pollution, overfishing, deforestation, and here we have some verbs that we use with these issues. Now, let's move to the second point about the negative questions. About the negative questions, look at these questions. You realize that these questions started with negative form. Okay, read the first one.
Can I?
Yes.
Wasn't Ali at the meeting last night?
Good. The second. Yes, Anwar.
Didn't he study for the test?
Good. The last one.
Aren't you going to attend the meeting?
Good. So we use you know, we use the negative questions for, you know, getting what? Formation, or, you know, showing, you know, the surprise. Didn't you study for the test? You show you're surprised, getting confirmation or information. Aren't you going to attend the meeting? Arguing someone to take action. This is about the negative questions. Look at, you know, the form. We use the auxiliary verb with the negative plus the subject. Look at the examples. Who can read them quickly? We can use negative questions to check information or express surprise. Adnan, read the answers.
Isn't there something we can do? Aren't you going to help? Don't you want to know what happened? Haven't you seen the news? Didn't you ask them about the damage? Weren't you there to offer support?
Good. Weren't you there to offer support? Interview your partner about a natural disaster. Here we have different answers. What happened? Indian Ocean tsunami. When did it happen? 2004. Where did it happen? In the Indian Ocean near the west of, you know, Sumerta. How many people were affected? At least 227,000 fatalities. And your question, what is a tsunami? How many countries were affected? Now here we are going to read, you know, the situations and make negative questions. Look at the example. Dia, read the example, please.
Okay. You just bought a new cell phone. Your friend is still deciding about whether to buy one. Aren't you going to buy one too?
Good. Now what about number one? Adnan, read number one, please.
You recognize your friend, an old friend in the mall. The friend doesn't recognize you. Don't you recognize
Don't
me?
you recognize me? Good. Don't you? You can ask him. Don't you recognize me? Now what about the second? Anwar, read the second.
Your friend is eating popcorn and is not offering you any. Won't you
Have different
offer some?
answers. Won't you, for example, offer me? Aren't you going to offer me any? Etc. Good. Now what about the third? Dia, you are
Are playing a
playing a
board
board
game.
game.
You want your friend to play the game too. Aren't you going to play with me?
Don't you? Don't you want to play?
But
Good.
also mine is correct.
What?
I said, aren't you going to play with me? Is that
Yes,
correct?
yes, it's correct. You know, here we had different answers. Yeah, yeah. Someone, you know, came and joined your group, greeted everyone, but forgot you.
Can I answer?
Yes, Adnan.
Aren't you going to greet me?
Good. Aren't you going to greet me or to say hello, etc. Number five, classes start at 8 o'clock. It's, you know, 8:30 and your brother is still in bed. Aren't you going to get up today? So this is about, you know, the negative questions. Now let's move to the next page, on page, you know, 93. Who can read the examples? Dia.
A TV journalist who reported on the breaking news story said that the earthquake which took place yesterday caused a great damage.
Good. The TV journalist who reported on the breaking news story said that the earthquake which, you realize here we use these relative pronouns showing, you know, the subject. Who related to what? To people, and which related to things. Now we can read the next example. Anwar.
These pictures shows the place where the earthquake happened.
Good. These pictures shows, you know, the place. These pictures show, not shows, ya shabab. Okay? Show. These pictures show the place where the earthquake happened. Okay? These pictures show the place. You realize here, you know, the relative adverb here, where refers to what? To a place. Look here. Who used with people, which used with things and, you know, ideas, animals, etc. Where used with what places? Who can read? Adnan?
That's the restaurant where we met for the first time.
Good. That's the restaurant where we met for the first time. This is the place where he proposed to me. A grocery store is a place where you can buy food. Look at the examples here, relative adverb, where. And here we have what examples. Look here. What do you think the sentences are correct or incorrect? If it is correct, write C. If it is incorrect, write N. I. Number one, that's
Answer.
the teacher which taught them history. Yes, Adnan?
Incorrect. It should be who.
Yes, should be who, because here we have a person. So it is incorrect. Number two, the Taif.
Ta'if is the place where I will visit next month, correct.
Good. Taif is the place where I will visit. What do you think? Is it correct or incorrect?
Correct because of where?
Where? This spot is a place. Aren't going to you study? What do you think, Anwar? Is it correct or incorrect?
It's incorrect because the you should be before.
Yes,
for the verb.
because here you aren't you going to study? So incorrect. The last one, haven't you seen the match? What do you think, Adnan?
It's true.
Good.
Correct.
True. Correct. Okay. Now let's move to the direct question and indirect questions. I think you studied it before in the elementary, let us say stage. Direct questions usually start with the question word plus the verb plus the subject. Look at the example. Where's the post office? This is a direct question. Now, if you want to make it into indirect question, we have to start with indirect question or introductory phrase. Like, could you tell me, do you know, I wanted to know, etc. Look here, plus, the question word, then the subject, then the verb. So here we have to change the order of the question, of the direct question. If you start with introductory phrase, you have to change what? The order of the direct question. Look at the example. Do you know where the post office is? Not, where is the post office? No, here we have to change the order of the question. Do you know? Could you tell me where the post office is? So the first one is a direct question. The second is indirect question. Look here. Now we start, the indirect question with an introductory phrase, such as, do you know? Could you tell me? Can you tell me? In indirect questions, we usually what? Remove the auxiliaries, do, does, did. For example, where does he live? This is what a direct question. If we have an introductory phrase and you want to make it into indirect, we have to start with what do you know? Do you know where he lives? What did we do here? We remove does and put s with the verb. Where does he live? Do you know where he lives? If you want to make the indirect questions. So this is a direct question, this is indirect question. Look at the second. Who can do it? Adnan?
Where do you live? Do you know where they live?
Good. Do you know where they live? Here we have to take out what? Or remove do. Just take out do. Could you tell me where they live? Now what about the third? Where did they live? Dia?
Could you tell me where they used to live?
Or
Or where they lived?
lived. Good. Here we have to take out did and change into verb 2. Do you know where they lived? Do you know where they lived? Because here we have did. So we have to put what? Verb 2. Good. Look at the examples here. Where's the train station? Who can make the indirect question? Yes, Adnan.
Where is the train station? Can you tell me where the train station is?
Good. Just we change, the order of the question. Do you know where the train station is? If we have does here, we have to take it out and put S. What time does the class open? Could you tell me what time the class opens? Number 3, Dia. Here we have do. Just, remove it. Yes,
Could you
Dia.
tell me where they live?
Could you tell me where they live?
Teacher, I
Yes.
will go and I will come back.
Take your stock. Anwar, where did the event start?
Do you know when the event started?
Good. Do you know when the event started? Where can he buy some apples? Do you know where he can buy some apples? So this is about the direct questions and indirect questions. Now here we have examples. It is found in your in your books. These examples are in your book. Okay, now here we are going to move to the last, let us say, subject about showing the agreement, expressing agreement with positive sentences. Look at the sentence. If you say, for example, Ali says, I am interested in reading books. Now you want to agree with him. You want to say that you are also interested in reading. How can you express agreement? We use so with positive sentences and the auxiliary and the subject. So am I. I am interested in reading. Sami says, so am I. وأنا كذلك. Now here we have another way for showing the agreement. I am too. Using what? Using the same, let us say, helping verb. Using the same auxiliary. So am I, or I am too. Now look here. I like coffee. Here there is no auxiliary verb. We have like. So we have to derive. We have to take out, let us say, we have to take a helping verb from like. Like is, verb 1. So we have to use do. Adnan, I like coffee.
So do I.
So, good. So do I. We use do because like doesn't have what? S doesn't have the, past form. Like directly. Verb 1, do. We have another way to show the agreement. We can say what? I do too. Look here. So plus the auxiliary plus the pronoun. The second part here, pronoun, the auxiliary, and to. To is used with positive sentences, positive agreement. Now if you want to show the negative let us say agreement with negative sentences, look at the example. I don't live in London. You want to say that also you don't live in London, you can say like this: neither do I. Neither is used with negative sentences. Also, we can say it in another way. I don't either. I don't either. Ahmed, Amal, sorry, I cannot study here. Neither can I. Here we have can't, saying what can. And neither for negative. Or we can say I cannot either. Neither, auxiliary plus what, a pronoun. Here pronoun plus auxiliary plus not and either. I cannot either. Look at the explanation in your book. Use so and to when you agree with an affirmative statement. Use neither and either when you agree with a negative statement. Look at the example. I ate the new pizza restaurant. I ate at the new pizza restaurant. So here we have simple past. We use did. So did I, or I did too. I will visit my family on the weekend. So will I. وأنا كذلك. I will too. With negative sentences, I don't know the answer. Neither do I. I don't either. I will not go to school tomorrow. Neither will I. I will not either. Okay. I didn't study English. I did. I will go shopping here. Maybe I will not. That's up to you. Pronoun, auxiliary. Pronoun, auxiliary, not. This is, if it is positive, we can make it negative. I didn't like the pizza. I did. Here, if you want to show the opposite, I have been to Muscat. For me, I haven't. I can rollerblade. I can't. I'm not very tall, but me, I am tall. Look at these sentences. What do you think? Do you know why he is angry? What do you think? Is it correct or incorrect? Adnan?
Correct.
Correct. Good. He doesn't like boxing. Ah. Ria?
He doesn't like boxing. Neither he does. That's incorrect.
Good. Good. I can swim. Anwar?
I can swim. I can too. I
Yes.
think it's correct.
Correct. Yes, I can too. Can you tell me where he does sleep? What do you think? Adnan?
Incorrect. It should be does he sleep?
Yes, it is incorrect. It should be what? Sleeps. Can you tell me where he sleeps? Okay. Now here we have sentences we can use. Direct questions.
So do we
Look
need
at the
to write
example.
them?
What?
Do we need to write them?
No. Just, do it orally. Where's the main post office? Do you know where the main post office is? Number 2.
Can I?
Yes, Adnan.
How often do the buses come? Could you tell me how often the buses come?
Good. Could you tell me, or do you know how often the buses come? Just you remove do. Number 3, Diya.
What time does the bank open? Could you tell me when does the bank open?
Opens. Could you tell me what time the bank opens? Good. Do you know what time the bank opens? Number 4, where is the nearest pharmacy? Anwar?
Nice one.
Yes.
Okay. Could you tell me where the nearest pharmacy is?
Number 5, do you know when the gas station closes? Here we have does, just remove it and put us. What is the name of the highway to town? Could you tell me, the name or what the name of the highway to town is? Okay, I can swim. How can we say I can swim? Nan.
So can I.
Good. So can I, or I can too. Number 2, I will play football on the weekend. Yeah.
So will I, or so am I.
Good. So will I, or I will too. So will I. There's no am to say. Yazan, I have 3 sisters.
So do I.
Very good. So do I. Or I do too. Here, it is written what? Incorrect. Here we have to, here have is a main verb, not as an auxiliary verb. So we have to use do. Good. 1 minute just to, where is, here must be what? So do I. Because it is what? It is an auxiliary. It is not an auxiliary. It is a main verb, like, play, or like any, main verb. Okay. Now let's move to the homework. Go to your homework.